Hello and welcome to the Greg Fearon podcast with your host Greg Fearon, and today I've got the awesome Hannah Watkins back to talk about leveling up, being authentic, being real, and just telling the haters to go away. Hey,
Yeah, let's all the haters. I mean, let's level it up from go away. Haters, fuck off.
there we go. End of podcast. We're done. No,
Done. Message delivered.
all right. So you've been on the show before. I think it'd be good just to let's just talk about. Let's just go straight in. Let's just talk about the conversation we were just having about the people that hate on the stuff that you do.
The people that hate on the stuff that I do specifically, or the people that hate on the stuff that you do, or all of them, haters in general.
All of them, all of them. Let's go.
Are you a hater?
Well, I don't
What are you?
identify. I don't identify as one, but you could be. If you give an opinion on something and the person doesn't like the opinion, then I would be labeled a hater.
Why do you care?
Exactly, but that's their label, right? Exactly. It's like, and as we were talking before about, we were talking about things like calorie counting and people saying it's disordered eating. You had some really good thoughts on that, so I think you should share that.
Okay, so I have had people say to me that counting calories is disordered eating, right? And it's like, firstly, I don't think that is a sweeping statement that can just apply to anything. I think it really super depends on the thoughts that come behind the person's calorie counting, right? If a person is calorie counting, why they are calorie counting. Because let's break it down and think about it absolutely logically and factually, right? So a calorie is just a measurable unit of heat, right? It's a measurable unit of energy. It's a neutral thing, the same as a kilowatt is a measurable unit of light and a kilometer is a measurable unit of distance, right? They're just measurable things. Your thoughts about them are the thing that is subjective and open to interpretation, right? And that's the thing where we all start differing, is our thoughts about the thing.
Mhm.
So if somebody is counting calories from a place of like self-hatred and self-loathing and like using it to punish themselves and punish their body into being thinner, as in they're trying to hate themselves thin, then I would say yes, that is disordered, but I would say it's more disordered thinking than disordered eating. It's disordered thinking which is driving a pattern of action, right, from a place of self-hatred. But if that person is tracking calories from a place of self love, because I want to improve my health, I want to live longer, I want to get into smaller clothes, I want to reduce my risk of having a heart attack or reduce my risk of having cancer, I want to be able to run around with my children, or do you know what, just because I'm fucking worth doing it for, then that is completely different because it's coming from a place of self love and self appreciation. And in that sense, you could even argue that it is ordered eating because you are restricting your intake for your own benefit, which is exactly the same as not spending money now because you want more money when you go on holiday later. You know, it's putting off short-term gratification for long-term gain. So if you think about it, right, let's think about a measurable unit of speed, which is what, distance over time.
Mhm.
Okay, say you, Greg, are driving down the motorway and you are sticking to 70 miles an hour because you want to be safe. How is that different to sticking to an amount of energy in to keep your body safe? But nobody says sticking to the speed limit is disordered driving.
No.
It's sensible driving. So
Yeah.
it comes from your thoughts about the calories that you are restricting and why you're restricting them. If you're restricting them, because there's nothing wrong with restriction if it's coming from a place of self-love, right? Think about your kids, right? If you let your kids have their way, small children, they'd want M&Ms for breakfast, they'd want to play with all the sharp knives, they'd want to run out in the traffic, they'd want to climb on the TV and break it and themselves, right? Children want to like kill themselves basically,
They
and
want to
we
experiment. Yeah.
restrict them. They don't realize that's what they want to do, but their behavior is, their behavior is not in their long-term best interest, is it? I've got a 5-year-old, and oh my goodness, if I didn't restrict her, she'd be hurting herself left, right, and center. But we restrict them from a place of love, right? We don't let them eat chocolate for breakfast. We don't let them run out in the traffic. We don't let them play with the sharp knives because we want to keep them safe because we love them. So how is that restriction bad? It's not. So like I think you've got to look at your thing, as with always, you've just got to look with your thinking behind everything that you do. Like what are your thoughts about about the thing that is driving your feelings and your actions?
It's so funny because I was watching Dr. Tim Spector this morning on Good Morning Britain
Okay.
as I was getting ready, and he was talking about calorie counting is not, not doesn't work long term. Everyone needs to stop dieting, but everyone needs to eat for their health and wellness. And I'm like, okay.
We know that.
Like, you're not telling the world anything new, but of course, headlines and everyone be, yes, anti-diet culture, all that stuff. And I'm just sitting there going, no shit, Sherlock. Like, seriously, like,
Okay, I'm sorry. If there is anyone out there who is surprised by the knowledge, eat less, you'll lose weight, I will, I'll eat my own hat. We
but,
all know that.
but my hormones.
No, bullshit. we all know, we all know, yeah, hormones, but not in the way that you think, everyone. Let's take a look at digestive hormones rather than blaming the estrogen and the progesterone and all the rest of it. Yes, shoot me. But like, if you look at, everyone knows that if they eat less, they'll lose weight, right? Put very, very simply, if you eat less, you will lose weight. If you then come into an energy deficit, if you line up your BMR, you'll lose body fat, right? We all know that.
Mhm.
Everyone knows that. The problem is that they can't do it. That's the problem. It's
So,
not that we don't know what to do, it's that we can't fucking do it.
so, and that's the key, I think, is like knowing if there's a knowingly I can't do it, or I did it and I failed, or there's a I may have been doing it unknowingly wrong. But that can often create the story that, you know, oh, calorie deficits are wrong. Calorie deficits are bad for everybody. So then when
Oh,
you say to people, okay, let's eat in a surplus and see what happens, they're like, oh, and they can't answer. And I'm like, well,
yeah.
what are you supposed to do?
It's kind of, I mean, think about it. Most people know that if they eat in a surplus and they eat more than they need, they're going to gain weight, you know, and that might be a truth they don't like. And that's when or they haven't been able to fix the problem of not being able to eat less because of, food addictions, eating their feelings, all those other things. So because I don't know how to not eat less, because I haven't identified that that's what the problem is why can't I eat less? Then it's okay, well, let's look to things like, oh, it must be my hormones, it must be my thyroid, it must be, changes in stage of life, it must be all of those things. But truthfully speaking, we all know that if you eat less, you will lose weight, and if you eat more, you will gain weight. If somebody comes to you overweight, it's not like they don't realize they've been overeating. They know they have. Let's be honest, that's the
At
truth.
some level, whether consciously or subconsciously, they know it.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Hmm. And it's gone.
No, sorry, I wasn't, I was just saying, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. It's like all of this stuff comes back to the stories you have about your worldview. What's your view? Because people get triggered by the word diet, and then I put the word diet in a post, and they're like, "Well, I don't say diet. I say healthy eating." And I'm sitting there going, "It just means the same thing." Because my way of looking at it isn't based on a story or a trauma that I've suffered about diets.
Yeah,
You could say good diet or bad diet, and they mean two different things. But the word diet in of itself is just a four-letter word.
word. It's
Hmm.
neutral.
Hmm. So what is it that makes people get so upset by these things?
Their thoughts about it.
Hmm.
I mean, that is an enormous, that is an enormous subject. I mean, the average person has something like 60,000 thoughts every day, and I guarantee that they are not aware of all of them. They're mostly, our brains are running on default. We don't question our own thinking, and therefore we don't realize the reason why we do and don't do the things we do and don't do.
Hmm.
It's not the simple logic that if you eat less, you'll lose weight. It's how to do that and why you are not doing that now. Like, why are you not doing that now? Are you getting stressed because your boss has sent you an email that you don't like and then diving into the chocolate? Are you just perpetuating that desire reward cycle that you've got of having that dopamine so many times that eventually you've formed an emotional eating habit? Are you looking all of those things? This thing about diets don't work. I think we've got to be really careful about that, because I agree that diets don't work, but I think we've got to be clear about what exactly we're defining as not working, right? Because if you go on a diet is by definition a short-term way of eating whereby whatever method you use, you're eating less. So if you go on that diet and you eat less for that 12 weeks, you're going to lose weight. So you could argue that it has worked. What it hasn't done is fix the problem of why you were overweight in the first place. So do diets work? Well, yes, if you want them for short-term weight loss, they work. Do you want to stop overeating forever? No, they don't teach you to do that. And the problem is that So many of us, with whatever goal it is that we want to achieve, whether it's I want to lose 3 stone, whether it's I want to make 100K, we all want everyone to tell us how. Like, tell me how to lose. What do I need to do to lose 3 stone? What do I need to do to build a successful business and earn 100K? Like there's some magic universal one size fits all. If you do this, and everyone online claims to have the secret, do what I'm telling you and you will lose 3 stone. Oh, but this diet is telling me to do this. I'm going to go with this one. Keto's telling me this. Paleo's telling me this, or whatever. I'm not going to go in and start bashing all the diets because that's pointless. But it's not what we do. Like if somebody comes to me and says, right, what am I going to do to lose 3 stone? I don't know. I don't know what you're going to fucking do. All I can do is figure out why you are doing what you're doing now, which is getting you the result you don't want. And then if you know why you're overeating, you can figure out how to not overeat. If you're overeating because you can't process stress, you can't tolerate stress,
Mhm.
why are you stressed? No one has to be stressed. Sorry, controversial. You don't have to be. Like, stress is a choice, anger is a choice, fear is a choice. They're innocent choices because we don't realize we're making them. Like you said earlier, we're making them subconsciously. So they're innocent choices. So there's no point kind of going, oh, I'm stress eating. Oh, that's stupid of me. I need to, what a stupid person to go and do that and create this result for myself. There's no point bashing yourself with it. It's going to get you nowhere. I mean, how far has being hard on yourself ever actually gotten you? Pretty much nowhere. Like, it's the most pointless thing.
And I think there's a difference between being hard on yourself and being honest with yourself.
Oh, 100%. But like, everything that you've got in your life is a result that you've created, right? All of it, it's all results. So if I look at that result completely neutrally, say I put on a stone over Christmas, right? Okay, that's my result. Completely neutrally, without beating myself up, what did I do to create that? Oh, okay. Well, I overindulged in alcohol and food. I ate more than I would have planned. I didn't plan my food. I didn't track any kind of energy intake. That's how I put on weight. So I can then reverse that if I want to. I now can create a different result. We all know how to be overweight. It's so fucking simple. But we all know that if we go out and supersize our Mackie D's every single day, we're going to put weight on. We
Mhm.
all know that if we stress eat chocolate every time we stress, we're going to put weight on. We know how to be overweight. It's how to then reverse that and lose that and obtain a different result that flummoxes so many people.
So actually, what you're saying is, and I think we're very much along the same lines, is you have to actually become the person that you want to be. Because the person that you are currently, with the way that you eat, the way that you live, the way that you think, is giving you a result.
Yeah, totally.
So what does the person that you want to be do?
Yeah.
And
And
that's
then
the
do it.
gap. And that's the gap
Yeah.
between where you are now and what you want to
Yeah.
be. So it's not the diet methodology that you follow. It's the are you the person that makes sure they get sufficient movement, that they are hydrated,
Yeah.
that they exercise on a fairly regular basis, that goes to sleep on time,
Yeah.
that eat some vegetables. Like
Yeah.
you have to become that person, not necessarily, oh, I have to follow keto or I have to track calories or whatever method you decide to do. It's just how can we get you to become the person you want to be?
Yeah. And I have so many of my clients will come to me with like their head in their hands, maybe 3 months in or 4 months in, going, oh my God, I've been at this 3 months. Or, oh my God, I've been at this 4 months. I should have cracked this by now. I should have better results by now. They're using all of those thoughts and all of those results as reasons to beat themselves up, right? And they cannot get their head around why it is so hard. Because it is hard. Oh my God, it's fucking hard. And one of the things that diets sell with is their promise of it being so easy if you do it with me. It's so easy if you do it this way. You don't have to be deprived. You don't have to give up all your favorite foods. Yes, you fucking do. You don't have to give them up, no, but you've got to eat them less. If your favorite food is chocolate and you are consuming bars and bars and bars of it every day, you need to stop doing that if you want to lose weight. If you don't lose weight, carry the fuck on, keep doing it. But if you want to lose weight, which is what you're telling me you want to do, then you are going to have to stop doing that. You know, if you are stress eating every time you get stressed, if you are celebrating with food every time you want to celebrate, if a meeting with a mate can't be a meeting with a mate without coffee and cake, then yeah, you are going to struggle to lose weight. And not doing all those things is really hard because you have got years of conditioning that you are trying to undo. And not only have you got years of conditioning, you've got years of conditioning that are cemented with intense emotional reactions on the top of them. Yes, it is fucking hard to stop overeating. It absolutely is. But if you accept that it's going to be really hard and you are going to feel like shit for a lot of it, because you are going to feel like shit for a lot of it. If you do not eat every time your brain is telling you to eat because you're stressed, you've got to face up to that stress. If you would usually eat every time you feel anxiety, but you don't eat when you feel anxiety, you've got to face that anxiety and deal with that. And if you can accept that it is going to be really hard, but that's not a reason not to do it, because we can do hard things, and doing hard things makes us so resilient and so strong. It makes us so badass. Why would you not want to be that person? But more than that, if you go a level deeper, because we love going deep, well, hey, if you look at right now, right, imagine you Greg have just come to me and you're in the middle of a weight loss, in your middle of our weight loss journey together, and you got your head in your hands and you just cannot reconcile why this is so fucking hard, right? And you get to the valley of despair, right, which we all know and love. They're the
Oh, I
vultures.
can't do this anymore.
That's where everyone quits and goes, no, I can't do it. So I want you to imagine in your head someone you absolutely cannot stand, hate them, absolutely hate this person, right? You don't have to tell me who it is, just think of them,
Mhm.
right? We'll call them John. You hate John, cannot stand him. He's awful, terrible, terrible, terrible person. He's wronged you and does things he shouldn't and makes you miserable, right? You hate him. Even the thought of him breeds self-loathing. Would you go through that difficult process for his benefit?
Hell no.
No, of course you wouldn't. Now, take someone you absolutely love unconditionally. Maybe it's your mum, maybe it's your child, whoever it is, right? Would you go through that for them?
Hell yeah. Hell
Of course
yeah.
you would. There's your problem. The way you feel about yourself is, I don't like myself very much.
Hmm.
That's why you're not willing to go through this really, really difficult process for somebody that you don't fucking like or think that it's worth it.
Yeah, like this thing about not feeling like you're worth it. It's always interesting because we work with parents and often they'll be like, I'll do anything for my kids. And I'm like, awesome. But they're watching you not do anything for yourself.
Oh God, yeah.
So how will you expect them to learn to do hard things? It's okay, little Johnny, work hard and you can get there too. You can be successful.
Mm,
Can I lose weight in 6 weeks?
yeah.
It's
Yeah. And like people like have this intense struggle with their weight and with themselves, right? Which breaks my heart constantly, which is, why we do what we do. But when you say to them, do you want your child to have these same struggles? Do you want your child to overeat? Do you want your child to have to deal with the health issues and the emotional issues that come with overweight and the emotional and health issues that cause you to be overweight? No, my God, no. Well, then why are you teaching them that it's okay? Because if it's okay for you, why is it not okay for them? Why do you want someone else to love you and champion you when you won't do it for yourself? Why do you want all the other people to do things for you that you are not willing to do for your fucking self? If when I was a PT, if I told someone to do 5 burpees, I would be hella yes to getting down on the floor and doing them with them. I would never ask somebody else to go through something that I wasn't willing to go through myself. So like when I was setting my business goals the other day, and my other half was like, you'll never earn that amount of money. And I'm like, you don't have to believe in me because the most important person to believe in me already does. You'll fucking see, man. I love that. Bring it. You'll see. I will. But oh, my husband doesn't believe in me. My friends aren't being supportive of my diet. So what? Because you don't believe in you and you don't believe that you're going to do it. Why do they have to do something that you are not willing to do? And that is believe in you.
it's because we're looking for that external validation all the time. Instead of validate
Validate your fucking self.
exactly, validate your damn self.
Yeah.
Validate
Like,
your damn self.
yeah.
Like I think social media has a really big impact on this, and I'll explain why. Someone puts out a post, doesn't matter what it is, whatever type of content, whatever, and you'll see people will purposely put out things like their dog, their children, because they get the boost of like
Hmm.
loves. They will never put themselves on camera.
Oh God, no.
So then it becomes like, what do you gain by getting all these hearts and all these lovely comments about everyone else, but not yourself?
Yeah,
And it's you looking for external validation that you're a good person
yeah.
and you're loved. That's a really big one.
Mm.
When I ask clients, are you loved? And they take ages to think about it. I'm like, okay, your partner lies in bed next to you every night. Are you loved? Your kids tell you they love you. Are you loved? And they really struggle with that. So it's like, we're looking for this love somewhere. But the love has to start here.
Mm. Oh
Like,
God, yeah.
validate me.
Yeah.
So,
And like truthfully speaking, like humans just in the age that we live in, which we are, our brains are not designed to live in the world we live in. Like modern cultures and modern societies have skewed our brain's perception of what it was intended to perceive, right? And I think like there's a whole catch up thing because our brains still think that we live in caves and that food is for survival and connection means you live. And the thing is that now so much of it is concentrated, you
yeah.
know. If you take all the refined sugar, the refined flour, the refined fat, the alcohol, all of that stuff that we were arguably never meant to have because it's highly processed, if you concentrate that food, you concentrate the dopamine response you get to it. So your brain telling you, oh, you ate that, it tastes nice, you need to do that again because that will keep you alive. It's now going to crave that more and more and more because of the concentrated ingredient in it. And like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, it's all the same. Like we all crave human connection because our brains know that connection, being part of the crowd, means safety, which means we will live. We won't die an isolated, banished person by themselves with their spear, with no chance. But like social media is concentrated human connection, which is why we crave it, and it's one of the biggest buffering techniques there are, like picking up your phone and scrolling it. What if every time you felt, and this is to everyone, what if every time you felt the urge to pick up your phone and scroll, you went, why am I doing that? And it's usually boredom. What's wrong with being bored? Be bored. Like sit with yourself. What's going on in your head? Like,
But this is why we do it, to escape ourselves.
mm,
We're sitting there going, oh, I can hear some thoughts coming through. And the thoughts haven't caused you any damage. There's like
no.
nothing's happened to you.
Your
So,
thoughts don't cause you damage. Your feelings don't cause you damage. What you do and what you don't do cause you damage. Like, think about it. If I go and overeat chocolate every time I feel stress,
mhm.
I cause myself to be overweight and higher risk of diabetes, putting my health at risk, putting my physical body, which is the only one I have to live in, and I'm not going to get another one, at risk. What was so wrong with going, okay, I feel a bit stressed. Just feel stressed. What is wrong with saying, do you know what? Okay, I'm feeling fear. I feel fear. Or I feel anxiety. Fear and anxiety, like none of it's gonna kill you. Like overeating might.
Mhm. Yeah, the action you do is often as a result of that thought is what actually causes the problem, not the feeling it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
sure.
do you know what? I think one of the biggest turnarounds I think I've had in my life, not only with weight, because like I've had my struggles with weight at 42, I've had my struggles with weight for years, not now, thankfully. Um, but like in every single aspect of my life, right? I'll feel fear. I'll feel fear about posting on social media. Like people say to me, "Oh, you're not scared of posting on social media. You post things all the time." It terrifies me every time I do it. Is that a reason not to do it? No. I can write up my post and I can go, "Yep, that is a true reflection of what I think." Post. And then my brain will start trying to talk me out of it and go, "Oh no, no, but someone's gonna not like that. Someone's is gonna be this and it's gonna be that. Delete it, change it, change it." And I'm like, no, because I wrote it and it's fine. And
Mhm.
I'm just now fearful because someone might not like it. But that's fine. I can feel fear.
And you're not even going to see these people half the time.
No, I can handle fear.
Mm.
I can handle anxiety. I can handle like I can handle any emotion that's going to be thrown at me. And I think that if you can stop running away from your emotions and turning to food and drink and social media and gambling and overspending and overworking and all those other things that we do to escape, then really you just realize that it's just fear.
Mm. Just a feeling, and it's okay.
It's just anxiety, just worry, which is
Hmm.
pointless, but it's
Take
still there.
do some breath work. Journal about it if you have to. We don't have
Yeah.
to. You don't have to live with it. It's just a feeling. Just experience it. Let it go.
You don't have to react to it. The same as like urges and cravings to eat food. You don't have to react to them. You can just let them be there.
Mhm.
Like this morning, I kid you not, this morning, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I really want like toast with lotus spread. I really want that. I haven't planned to eat that. I don't need to eat that now. I'm just feeling a craving for it. I can just sit with that craving and just let it go. And
Done.
I feel so much better when that craving is then processed all the way through and I just let it be there and I didn't eat the thing that I said I wouldn't eat.
Nothing happened to you. Are you okay? Just want to make sure.
I lived.
Thank the Lord.
And I've not signed up for a diet.
But that was an interesting thing. So there's two things on you just mentioned about diets and stuff. And so one of the things we were talking before the show was about longevity of the process, because I think we both come from a very similar place in that we know it's actually going to take longer for you to become the person you want to be than the 12-week, 90-day, 30-day program.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts on what we were thinking and we were talking and
The thing is, people, I have had people sign up with me that want to sign up for 3 months and no longer. They want to achieve it in 3 months. Why are you in such a hurry? Often it's because I need to lose weight so that I will feel good about myself. And therefore, I'm feeling a desperate hurry to get there. I need to have lost weight to feel happy and to love myself. Absolutely not. It is a non negotiable thing that everyone that works with me will learn to love themselves and work on that before they lose a pound, before they lose anything and change anything about themselves. Because happiness, love, especially self love, available to you right now. It's available to the person who is 20 stone,
Mhm.
available to the person who is a size 10. You do not need to go from a size 20 to a size 10 to feel good about yourself. You do not need to do that. And if you think about it, if you are waiting to get to that size 10 to feel happy and to feel love, every little pitfall is going to be agonizing because it's further delaying that feeling.
Mhm.
The journey is going to take too long. The journey is going to be miserable. Like, let's be honest, how many times have us as adults looked back on to when we were children or when we were teenagers and gone, God, I wish I could go back to then. But at the time you hated it. You know, you're I am just as able to love myself at a size 20 as I am at a size 16 and I am at a size 10. And your problems don't go away when you get to a size 10. Like, if you are struggling for money and want to become a successful entrepreneur, your stress about money will not disappear when you earn 100K and it will not disappear when you earn a million. People are, in fact, statistically more worried about money as millionaires than they were when they earn 16, 20K a year.
Hmm.
So I think if you can learn that, I mean, ultimately, you can't hate yourself thin. Positive, positive, constructive results and positive, constructive actions can't come from a negative, destructive place. Like they can't. I remember vividly, and if she ever listens to this, she will know exactly who she is. One of my clients who I love dearly, she's currently, I think, about 5 stone down. She started off at a size 20. She's now round about size 16 and still going. But there was a day that she came to me in our online meeting and she had her head in her hands and she went, oh my God, she went, I've just had the hugest revelation. And I was like, okay, cool. What's that? She said, Hannah, I can't hate myself thin. And I've been trying to do it for so many years. And I've made myself so fucking miserable in the process. And the minute she realized that she could love herself thin, she couldn't hate herself thin, 5 stone gone. Because all of a sudden she was doing all of these hard things for someone that she thought was so worth it. And it just makes it changes everything.
The game changer. Yeah, it's so funny when you get people to see like you can't hate yourself, and also this shizzle is gonna take long time.
Yeah. Oh
You've
God.
been you've been battling with yourself for 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
90 days ain't gonna fix it.
You've been battling yourself all that time and you are so exhausted from it. And this is the life that you're choosing. All right, you're innocently choosing it. You don't know that you're choosing it, but you are choosing it. You're choosing it in the absence of choosing something else.
Mm.
And think about, okay, let's get like scientific and geeky for a second, because I love me a bit of neurobiology, right? So if you think about it, the more times you think a thought, the more efficient your brain gets at thinking it, the less energy your brain takes to think that thought. Think about driving. I mean, you drive a car? I can't remember.
I don't drive.
All right, something else that you know how to do. Put the kettle on, brush teeth, anything
Yeah,
like that.
like all
Like,
that. Yeah,
you think about doing that? No, you don't, because you've done it so many times. Your brain has become really efficient at doing it. You could walk somewhere with your headphones in, listening to a podcast or some music, going somewhere that you know how to get to, and not think about how you're getting there. Your feet just go that way because your brain just does it on autopilot. So if you think that your brain constantly strives to be efficient, the way it wants to be efficient is to save its energy. It is hardwired to save energy. Therefore, the more times you've thought something, eventually your brain goes, I don't need to think about this anymore because I know how to do it. So I'm going to take it out of that part of your brain that requires conscious thought, and I'm going to refile it away over here in the autopilot department. Now you've got an unconscious habit. That's when you're doing things that you don't need to even think about. You have trained your brain to be a highly efficient emotional overeater. You've trained your brain to do that. And it's really good at it.
yep.
I was an incredibly efficient emotional overeater. I could do that without even thinking. I was really good at that. If there'd been a medal for that, I'd have won it.
And it's so true as you say it because sometimes when people go, I'm an emotional eater, I'm like, so tell me what emotion you had when you were eating that bar of chocolate. And they're like, I don't know. It was a good day. I felt all right. So was it emotion or is it such a learned behavior
Yeah.
that it's just deeply ingrained in your soul and your brain, and your brain just goes, eat chocolate. There's no
Yeah.
emotion, there's no stimulus, it's just eat chocolate.
Yeah. And that's why it feels like eating is out of control, but it isn't. Like the thought is there, it's just completely buried in, I don't need to think about this anymore because I've thought it so many times.
Mm.
And when those neural pathways are really solid and like really efficient, they become super highways. And not only are they super highways, they are cemented in a really intense emotional attachment. And people wonder why they're so hard to break and why they take so long. That shit is going to take a long time to unlearn and relearn
Mm.
something else. And you got to really want to do that, you know? And really, if you're looking for the quick fix, because none of us like to think we want a quick fix because we all fundamentally know that's wrong. But essentially, that's what you are if you're like, oh, I can do that in 3 months. No, you can't.
Well, if you think about it, right? If we work with people who are successful, great careers, etc. To get to that point of your career, you didn't do that in 3 months.
No.
So how would changing your physiology, your neurobiology, how would that be easier and shorter?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm having life saving surgery, if I'm having a brain tumor removed, or if I'm having, I mean, touch wood, obviously, like I'm not tempting any fate here, but say I'm having like triple bypass heart surgery, do you want a surgeon who's been learning for 3 months?
Hell to the no. I want to know. I want to talk to the people he's operated on. I want to see
Yeah.
his podcast. I want to listen to his YouTube talks. I want to hear
Yeah.
everything. He's not going
I
to do
want
that in 3 months.
I want to see all the people that have had his surgery and are now alive. That's what I want to see. You know, like this process, knowing this process deeply and unequivocally. Is that a word? I think so. Is like it's everything. It's everything. I mean, let's be honest. People don't go into like you and I. We've both been personal trainers. You know, we don't go into it's often the way in actually have you noticed that like you
Yeah.
go in like this base gym floor level and then you end up realizing the psychology that lives behind all of this shit, and that bench presses alone aren't gonna do it. And then you kind of evolve from there. Like, I've only just realized that. That's really interesting. But like, none of us do it because PT was advertised at a job fair. Like, none of us do it for that reason. Like, I give a shit so deeply about the people that suffer with this, because it's life limiting stuff.
Mhm.
It really is.
Because how you treat yourself shows up in every area of your life.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Everything. You
Yeah.
know, I've got a client. She's on track to hit 100K. She hasn't lost that much weight. What was the switch in her business was because we taught the kind of easy methodologies for nutrition. We just applied them to her business. And she
Oh,
went,
totally.
"Oh my God!"
Yeah.
And
And the truth is, like, I don't know how you're going to lose 100 pounds in weight. I don't know how you're going to earn 100K. You will know that when you've done it, but you will never do it all the time. You believe that you can't. You
yeah,
just won't. Like,
until you start. And I think that's the thing. Like social media now is so much about here's my methodology and trying to prove every other diet wrong, which is for me, I'm bored of it now. Like I'm bored of again, listening to Dr. Tim Spetzer this morning, talking about the whole, it's about your gut biome and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there going, well, it's all interlinked. But because people want to see something that different, isn't it marketing saying where you have to throw rocks at your enemies?
yeah, yeah,
Let's throw rocks at the counting crowd. Let's throw rocks at the keto crowd. Oh, I've tried all those. This person is right.
yeah,
So this must be the way to do it.
yeah, absolutely.
And
I
then,
have seen, sorry,
sorry,
go on.
no, I was gonna say, and then they'll watch their favorite influencer who, maybe a PT, has all the time in the world to prep, get and that's how I'm gonna do it. And then they realize we understand they can't do it. It's like now they're looking around for another thing again.
Yeah, yeah. And truthfully speaking, if we look to external circumstance constantly to feel the way we want to feel, we relinquish all of our control to the universe and to everything outside of ourselves, which is victimizing yourself. It is, because you're taking all of your power away, which is what a victim is. As another thing, people are like, I'm not a victim. Like, don't say that I'm being a victim. And you're like, you're totally a victim because you need something else to make you feel something. Whereas you could just choose to feel it. And it is that simple.
Yeah.
Like, it is that simple. Like, I've had people say to me, oh yeah, but you lost the weight and now you love your body. Nope, absolutely not. When I was at my biggest, when I was the most miserable I've ever been, with like mental health issues, massively overweight, really miserable, I decided one day I was going to love my body no matter what.
And
Absolutely no matter what.
and when you started, that minute you started to love your body is when you decided to act in accordance with a loved
Oh
body.
my God, I felt so much better. I cannot tell you. It was like this huge crushing weight. Have you ever seen the film? Have you ever seen one of the Scrooge films where the ghosts that have died, they're like dragging around these chains and they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like that. And I felt that a locksmith had just taken it off. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, there really is no such thing as the fucking thought police. I can think whatever I want. Nobody can tell me not to, because nobody knows what's going on in my brain if I choose not to share it. Like, nobody's going to die if you choose to love yourself now. Like, nothing's going to happen apart from good stuff, and you can believe whatever you want. If you don't believe me, look at what you believe. You believe what you want. You're doing it already.
Well,
You just
exactly what I was going to say. Exactly what you believe is the way you're living.
yeah,
By choosing not to believe something else, you're limiting yourself from doing something else.
yeah. And the thing is, I think people innocently make the mistake of thinking innocently make the mistake of thinking that what they believe is just true. My thoughts are just a reflection of what is. I'm just seeing the world, you know. But your thoughts are your choice, always, even if they are an unconscious choice, even if they are a default thought. a default choice, they are nonetheless your choice if you choose not to challenge them and think something else on purpose. And what you think is everything. Like, it's everything. This whole crap about, oh, I'll believe it when I see it. No, it's the other way around.
Yeah, you
If
have
you
to.
don't believe it's there, you're never going to see it.
And invariably, what happens is when you see it and it happens, you try and find something else because you didn't believe in it in the first place. You'll
Yeah,
try and find something else to discredit what you've already seen.
exactly. If you believe that your method of weight loss is going to work, you will go out there and make it work. If you believe that it doesn't work, you will look for every single hole in it and rebel against it and sabotage it and prove to yourself that it doesn't work.
Hmm. I see it all the time, especially online when people are like, oh, I tried calorie counting, and you ask the question and say, how long did you try it for? Tumbleweed.
Mm,
And I've offered to help people and say, look, send me your screenshots of your MyFitnessPal. I'll give you some pointers.
mm,
Silence, because
yeah,
they don't. They've already made a decision and a belief around it. They won't entertain it, and that's why it's wrong. Rather than let me find the evidence. Like I say to clients all the time, could you go to a judge with that belief? You can't
yeah,
go to a judge and go, I believe that Hannah stole the money from the bank. The judge is going to ask, did you see Hannah
yeah,
do it? And what other corroborating evidence is there? Is there a camera? Have we got fingerprints? So there's a whole gamut of things
yeah,
to decide a fact. A belief, you can just wake up tomorrow and say, I believe that pigs can fly.
yeah.
So,
Ultimately, you can believe whatever the hell you want. And if your beliefs make you feel like shit, change them.
yeah.
Change them to something that makes you feel a lot better and that will drive you into action that reflects that thought and that feeling, you know? Having said that, let's not forget there are times that we want to feel shit and that it's right that we feel shit. When my cat died, I didn't want to feel happy.
Yeah,
I,
I should be
you
happy.
know,
Yeah, of course.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't want to turn on the news and see what's happening in Ukraine and feel happy about it. I want to feel outraged. I want to feel sad when a tragedy happens. I want to feel outraged when I see terrorism or unjust injustice. I don't want to feel misery over someone telling me they don't like me. I don't want to feel misery over getting on the scales and going, oh, I'm a pound heavier than I was last week. Like, I can choose how I want to feel in that situation.
And even though, like you said, those thoughts, they just come up. Sometimes they just come up and they're just there.
Yeah,
You have the ability to respond.
yeah, totally.
Event and your response is what makes the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
E plus
I
R,
think
yeah, equals outcome.
so many times it's possible to just look at your brain and be like, so I write my Facebook post and I post it, and then my brain starts saying to me, oh no, change that, delete it. Someone's not going to like that bit. Then you change that word, that'll make it better. And someone's going to like that bit of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you for your contribution, brain. You can just go over there right now. I've written it, it's done. I'm not going to spend time thinking. I'm not available for this right now.
Mm.
It's one of my favorite responses, actually. Like when I can't remember who it was, even someone like tried to make me feel bad over something. Yeah, I'm not available for guilt today.
Done, done. It's like we have this all the time, and it's almost like people are looking to find holes in what you believe or what
Because
you.
they don't believe it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's about them.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about them, and they're looking for something that they can disagree with. It's like I think some people spend all their time on the internet looking for things that they don't agree with to express their outrage.
But then I don't want to work with those people.
Hell no. They.
Like, they are totally free to not believe a word I say.
Mm.
They are totally free to think that I am full of shit. And that's absolutely fine. I believe it. What you believe is your choice. And does that serve you to think that I'm full of shit? If you don't want to work with me, yeah, it probably serves you to think that. If you're actually someone who's desperately trying to lose weight but just doesn't really want to hear the truth, it's not really serving you.
Because what you're doing now obviously isn't working, so you need to be ready to try something different.
100%. But I think a lot of that is just about blame. Because when you blame, you don't take accountability.
Oh, I felt that in my soul.
Yeah. I think accountability is your superpower, in all aspects. I'm not saying, and some people are like, yeah, but isn't accountability just blaming yourself? Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not. You can make the decision to always have your own back, no matter whatever happens. You know, okay, I've made a promise to myself to have my own back and to always love myself. Okay, Christmas has just gone. I've put on half a stone.
Mhm.
Okay, I've got my own back. That's fine. I'm not going to use that as an excuse to beat myself down or chastise myself. I'm going to take accountability for it. I ate all the chocolate. I did that.
I did that. No, no one
Fine.
forced it into my throat. No one.
Nobody forced it down my throat. Why did I eat it? What do I want to do about it now? Okay, let's love myself down the next path that I'm going to go down.
Yes.
I cannot tell you how sick I am of people using their weight against themselves.
People do all the time though. It's it's almost like a natural thing to do. Like, yeah, I, it's my weight's fault. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is it?
I'm going to use my body weight to make you see how unworthy I am.
Hmm. Well, my weight has caused me to have a slow metabolism. Sorry, I could. These are the things that we hear, and I'm like, okay. So what have you been eating for the last how many months, years?
Hey, if you want to blame your metabolism, go right ahead.
But that's the thing, it's outsourcing the accountability.
Yeah.
So we love to say that we're honest people. Then you have to be honest in all things. You can't be like, well, I'm honest and about my work, but not honest about the things I consume or the things I don't consume or I don't exercise. You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
And that's the hard bit about accountability, I think, for people.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think it comes down to the things that make people flinch. Like when you flinch, lean in to it
Hmm.
because there's gold there to find.
Yeah,
You
that's where
know,
the magic is.
like why do I flinch when I've just posted something on social media? I flinch because I've just posted something on social media because I'm worried that people are gonna not like it. So lean into that. Don't not post on social media. Lean into what's making you flinch about it, and
Yes.
then like, okay, well, I'm flinching because people might not like me. Okay, so fucking what? Even if they don't like me, who cares?
Yeah. It's funny, the most adored people, I won't say loved, adored people are the people that have strong opinions one way or the other. And don't give a monkeys about what other people say. They just keep saying the consistent things. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's different. But those are the people that people love. So, or
Yeah.
adore. So like, well, why are we sitting there going, oh, I'm not going to say that because it might upset a few people?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not turning anyone off, you're not turning anyone on either. Let's be honest.
Oh, all right there. Right. We've been jamming for 45 minutes on the probably the best podcast. I think everyone will, because it's honest, it's raw, it's truthful. Um, just tell people where they can find you.
Oh, okay. So previously, I was operating under another username on social media, but I've got a brand new weight loss product coming out um, in the next week or so. So you would have to go onto Facebook and search for Weight Loss Unfucked,
Oh, I
and
like it.
me.
Wait, lost on fact. Okay. So, ladies listening to this, please leave a review. I will put Hannah's details in the show notes so you can go say hello, go follow her. I think if anyone takes something away from this, you'll have a magical 2023 and beyond.
Yeah,
So,
you
yeah.
want your 2023 to be magical?
Mm.
Sprinkle some magic into it.
Then you got to do the magic tricks, right?
Yeah.
Simple as that. If you want magic, you got to do the things that make the magic. Simple as that.
Make it happen.
Exactly. Hannah, thank you. And we'll
Thank
talk
you.
again very soon. Bye.
Yes, definitely.